There is a current case in the headlines right now that so many of you have been requesting that I cover. It's one that is unfortunately horrifically heartbreaking and very gruesome from the details that we do know, but it's also one that has a lot of theories and a lot of speculation going on. Now, the brother of this victim has requested that the speculation and the theories die down because, as you can imagine, as this family is still reeling and trying to get answers, it's hard when you're hearing all of these things come at you left and right, and it waters down actual credible tips, it hinders the investigation, and so forth. So I've been a little reluctant to do a video on this case for those reasons, but again, so many of you guys have been requesting it. There does seem to be a bit more credible evidence that has come out. So while today's video may be shorter than usual videos, it's because I wanted to really keep it to what we know about the case rather than go off on a bunch of theories that are going on and rumors. So if you haven't guessed by now, today's case that we will be talking about is the case of Rachel Morin. Hey guys, I'm Elise. This is 10 to Life. Let's jump right in.
This is 10 to Life with Elise.
Today's sponsor, PDS Debt, has customized 0% interest options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills. Now, for me, I get into the quicksand that is debt very, very easily because I'm never keeping track of when I'm swiping, which is like, my bad, I need to figure it out. And with rising interest rates and the cost of living at an all-time high, it can really be hard to figure out how to cover everything while also paying down all of those past debts. But now is the time to stop waiting and start saving with your own custom debt savings options from PDS Debt. So if you're making payments every single month on your debt like I am and your balances just are not going down, this program is for you because PDS Debt rolls all of your payments into one low 0% interest monthly payment so that you can save thousands in interest and fees. Everyone with over $10,000 or more in debt qualifies, and there is no minimum credit score required. Bad and fair credit are both accepted. And here is the kicker and the best part today. PDS Debt is offering all of you a free debt analysis just for completing the quick and easy debt assessment at pdsdebt.com/life. That's pdsdebt.com/life. I will link it in the description, and guys, take back your financial freedom today and pay off your debt in a fraction of the time by visiting pdsdebt.com/life. 37-year-old Rachel Morin comes from a very tight-knit family. She was one of 5 children and has 5 children of her own and many nieces and nephews. Rachel was described as a very devoted mom. She was a single mom, and she worked very hard to provide for her children, whom she shared with 3 different men. She was a loving mother, a caring mother, and worked very hard to provide for them. Rachel owned her own cleaning company, which was absolutely great because owning her own company offered her the flexibility and the freedom to be able to be at every event for her kids and be a very present mother. Since the children are all aged between 8 and 18 years old, they all have various needs and varying levels of independence. Rachel had been working for a family by the name of the Wolts for the last 8 years. She cleaned their home frequently, and they have described her as easygoing and spoke out about what a great mom she is. They had even gotten to know her children over the years and had become like grandparents to them. Now, from everything that I've read, it seems like Rachel's kids were just completely surrounded by love all the time. But outside of being a mom, Rachel was still a 37-year-old woman. Being a mom wasn't her sole identity. She had other things that she enjoyed doing for herself, such as working out. Rachel loved working out, and she took a lot of pride in her fitness abilities. Not only that, but she also took a lot of pride in her appearance. She reportedly got daily spray tans at the bronzing studio, which was usually around 2 p.m. when she would go in. Having seen the tanning staff every day, Rachel would tell them things about her life, things that were going on, things she was doing, things she was planning. And most recently, Rachel had told them that she was on multiple dating sites. And on August 1st, Rachel had began dating a new man by the name of Richard Tobin. So the two of them must have quickly hit it off because almost immediately after meeting, they went Facebook official, which basically means you change your relationship status on Facebook to say you are in a relationship. You're off the market, you're taken. So Rachel seemed to be super happy with her new relationship based on the photos that were being posted. However, the Woltz family, who she worked for, said that she seemed distracted that week, which would make sense with the excitement of a new relationship and being engulfed in that and wanting to text and talk all the time. That makes sense. Now, allegedly, her boyfriend Richard later claimed that they did go to the gym together before he dropped her off around 4:50 p.m. After that, Rachel had seemingly decided to go for a hike at the Ma and Pa Trail around 6:30 p.m. The Ma and Pa Trail is a trail that Rachel had gone to many times before. She had frequented it, and according to her brother, she had previously ran that trail in 42 minutes. But after going there, Rachel never came home. At 11:23 p.m., Richard called 911 to report Rachel as missing after not being able to get a hold of her. He told officers that he had found her car right by the entrance of the trail, so the investigation started immediately. Rachel's car was towed by police to be processed for potential evidence, and the investigation was fully underway. Now, with the population of Bel Air only being just a little over 10,000 people, it is definitely a small town, and people have reported it to be a very tight-knit community in this small town. So as you can imagine, a woman going missing on a trail that was always deemed as a safe trail and one that she was familiar with was kind of shaking the sense of security for people who live in that town. Many of them came together to help search for Rachel. And around 1 p.m. the next day, August 6th, a 911 call was made by one of those people searching. The caller let law enforcement know that Rachel had been found and that she was deceased. Now, based on the call and the details of the discovery, it was apparently very clear that this was now a homicide case. So law enforcement held a press conference just a few hours later to let people know that they had in fact found Rachel's body. But they were seemingly being very careful about what information to share, as it was and is an open investigation. However, Michael Gabrinsky, the man who claimed to be the one to find Rachel and the man who called 911, quickly began talking to news outlets about the discovery of Rachel's body. This local man by the name of Michael Gabrinsky had reportedly joined the search along with his stepdaughter Cecilia, who was reportedly friends with Rachel, and also her friend Evan. So Michael had said that they had decided to check 2 drainage tunnels on the trail in Hartford County after they had noticed disturbances on the ground close to the track where Rachel had taken a walk that night. And when they approached the tunnel, they made that horrifying discovery. According to Michael, Rachel was laying on her back, fully naked, and she had brutal head trauma. And he said as though it looked like her head had been smashed in with a rock. He went on to say that there was a 15 to 20 foot blood trail, and it looked like she had been beaten and dragged into that position she was found in. Michael suggested that due to the facial injuries, it appeared as if whoever killed Rachel was trying to erase her identity, saying that the entire right side of her face was gone. But Michael's claims seem to be a little controversial with the Hartford County Sheriff's Department, saying things in the comments on Facebook such as, "The individual you are speaking of did not find Rachel or witness her body. He has no first-hand knowledge of the crime scene." So unclear if what Michael reported carries any truth or not, a source close to the family has said that due to the level of injuries and due to them being so horrific, there won't be an open casket at Rachel's funeral. So of course, when somebody goes missing or somebody is found deceased, first person people look at is the spouse or the boyfriend or girlfriend typically. So there is of course a lot of speculation on whether or not her boyfriend could have been involved in what happened to Rachel, especially given his history and checkered past and slew of charges. However, one of his Facebook comments reads, "I love Rachel. I would never do anything to her. Let the family and I grieve. Yes, I have a past, but I also have 15 months clean and have changed as a person. Please." We of course know that just because somebody has a checkered past isn't indicative of who they are at the present moment and what they are capable of, but we also know it is very easy in the true crime community to jump straight to accusing the spouse, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the wife, the husband, anyone close to the victim. However, In my opinion, this comment that he made did seem genuine, and it didn't seem as though it came from a place of malice or that he was trying to cover up something. It just appeared very genuine to me when I first read it. Up until now, police have not said whether Rachel was targeted or the crime was random, and there have been no arrests. The sheriff said the detectives had interviewed a number of people in Rachel's circle, including her 27-year-old new boyfriend, Richard Tobin. So, with what seemed like no movement and just theories and speculation, early Thursday morning, a press conference was announced. And in this announcement, they said that this press conference would be held that afternoon and that they would be presenting important potential suspect information. So the press conference was initially scheduled to take place on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. However, then it was pushed out to 4:30 p.m. and it was pushed out last minute because apparently law enforcement had received a tip and a lead. But unfortunately, it didn't generate and materialize into anything. So the press conference did happen at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, and here is what happened in that press conference.
You live, Shelby? All right, everyone, good evening. I just want to apologize for the rescheduling. We had a lead come in at 3 o'clock that we needed to run down before we did this press conference. As of right now, that lead hasn't panned out for us, but we're still out there investigating it. So that's why we had to postpone this press conference. So first off, I just want to start off by saying thank you for coming out tonight. I am Colonel William Davis, Chief Deputy of the Harford County Sheriff's Office. I know this briefing comes in late in the day, but last night we received critical pieces of information, and our detectives have been working throughout the night and today running down our new leads. Once the new evidence came to light, Sheriff Gaylor was adamant that we needed to inform our community as soon as possible, and that's why we're here tonight. As you know, since Saturday, August 5th, 12 days ago, the Harford County Sheriff's Office has been working around the clock to get justice for Rachel Morin and hopefully bring peace to her family. Since that first day, over 300 community tips have flooded our inboxes and emails. Her death has grabbed local, state, national, and international headlines, everyone with the same goal: find the killer and bring justice to Rachel. DNA evidence is part of nearly every modern-day investigation, and in Rachel's case, DNA evidence was collected by our Forensic Services Unit. That DNA was analyzed by the Maryland State Police, and it was ran through the National CODIS system. This DNA evidence has come back as a match, tied to a home invasion and an assault of a young girl in Los Angeles this past March. Unfortunately, that suspect has not been positively identified, but he did leave behind his DNA. Based on the DNA evidence, we consider the individual in the video we obtained from the Los Angeles Police Department and that we are about to show you on our TV screens to be the person that murdered Rachel Morin on August 5th. So we're now going to show the video. And just so everyone's aware, this video, after this press conference, this video will be posted on our social media. All right, you want to play it one more time? Okay. When you're ready, we're going to post it on our social media. Based on our analysis of this video and witness observations, we believe the suspect to be approximately 5'9", 160 pounds, and of Hispanic descent. If you have any information about this suspect, we are asking you to please call our detectives at our tip line. And the tip line number is 410-836-7788. And we've also established a dedicated tip email address, and that email address is rmtips@harfordsheriff.org. Again, that's RM as in Rachel Morin, tips@harfordsheriff.org. We want to make it clear that we believe the suspect acted alone, and he doesn't represent the entire Hispanic community of Harford County, who we are now partnering with to identify this suspect. I know I can speak for the sheriff when I say we are immensely proud of this community. Our community will not be defined by this tragedy. Our community is one that will work together to get the job done and bring this suspect to justice. In the meantime, in the light of this new evidence, I urge our citizens to use caution while walking on our trails and throughout our community. Be alert, walk with a friend, don't allow yourself to be distracted by your cell phone or headphones. And finally, if you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable or that you think is suspicious, act on those instincts and call 911. And lastly, we will continue our increased presence on the Mom Pod Trail. And now I'll open it up to questions.
Colonel, do you have any other details on what happened in Los Angeles, exactly where, or anything about what this person did there?
So when it comes to the details about Los Angeles, that's information that the Los Angeles Police Department has, and we were just going to refer people to the Los Angeles Police Department to get those details. Only thing I can tell you is an attack on a young girl.
Any word about a possible motive? Like, was Rachel missing any money or anything like that?
So we are not going to talk about the crime scene at this time because, as I've said in previous interviews, we don't want to talk about the crime scene or what happened at the crime scene because once we catch this person, we want to make sure we got the right person. And the only people that know what happened at that crime scene when we catch the person is us and that suspect. So we're not giving any details about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Again, how did you come across, what led you to this particular suspect, this person?
So we collected DNA from our crime scene. The Maryland State Police analyzed that DNA for us, ran it through the National CODIS system, and that came back as a match to the crime that occurred in Los Angeles, where they had recovered DNA from this person that you saw in the video.
The video that we watched, tell us about it? I mean, what Los Angeles Police released it to you, but what is it? Is it at his home? Is it at a scene of a crime?
That is at a home, and that is the suspect leaving the scene of the crime there.
And that was a home invasion and assault.
Correct.
Of a little girl? Is that just
A young girl. That's why I'm going to leave it at a young girl. I don't want to talk about the family there, but it was a young girl in the house that got assaulted.
What does this do to the case, Colonel? You have an image now of the person you think is believed to be
Correct.
responsible for this. What does that do for the case?
Well, I think now it kind of leads us down the path that we believe this was a person that Rachel probably didn't know. Maybe you could say potentially a random act of violence. And we're hoping that the community now can watch that video, and we also got still pictures that we're going to be putting out, and that somebody can identify him.
Have you think this was totally to a certain area? Do you think he could still be like somewhere on the Mont?
We don't have any clue where he could be. We don't even know if he's still in Harford County or in the state of Maryland, because obviously in March he was in California, and then here in August he was here in Maryland. So we don't know if he's still here or not.
Do you have any evidence that he was targeting people along that trail, or do you believe this was, completely random?
I'd only be speculating. We do not know.
Do you think he maybe armed any weapons or anything?
Again, speculation.
You describe him, Colonel, as 5'9", 160, Hispanic male. Do we have an approximate age? Or?
Oh, yeah, we believe he's in his low to mid-20s.
Do you have a date for when the Los Angeles invasion happened?
I'm just going to put out that it was in March. The Los Angeles Police Department knows that we're doing this press conference, so if you called them, they would probably be able to give you that information.
How rare is this to have a DNA hit from the other side of the country? And can you talk about that whole process and how that worked?
I mean, this is the first time I've seen a hit in a case that I've been involved in that was that far away for a DNA hit. So I wouldn't say that it's unheard of, but certainly unusual.
For the record, you don't have his name?
No, that's what we're looking for.
Like where he lived or anything like that? Is he from LA or?
We don't know. We know nothing more about him other than he was in LA and committed that crime in March, and he was here in August and is the murderer. We believe to be the murderer of Rachel Morin.
To follow up on that question, you identified him through DNA evidence through this database. So there's no name associated with that?
No. There's no name associated because it's just evidence from a crime that was submitted. And his DNA on it, like being arrested and getting DNA, none of that is in the system. However, we are working with, we have called the FBI, and we are working with some of their DNA experts in their crime lab that try to help us further analyze this DNA.
Without compromising the investigation, can you tell us, Rachel was found.
Correct.
And it was determined that it was a homicide.
Correct.
was there trauma? Was she beaten? What was the nature of the
All
assault?
we've said so far, and I think we're going to leave it at that, is that it was a violent attack.
What's your message to the relationship at all between Rachel and the suspect?
Well, again, we just got this information last night. Not that we have been able to determine yet that we don't know of any relationship or that they were known to each other before this incident. So I can't really say, but right now, no.
Obviously, this is it already has the community on the edge.
Absolutely.
There's somebody out here who just murdered someone. What's your message to the community? Obviously, people are scared. Out here.
Yeah, we want our community to be vigilant. Obviously, the Mom Paw Trail has been opened since the day after Rachel was discovered. We have a very large amount of deployment on the Mom Paw Trail. We are going to continue that deployment until either this person is caught or we believe he's not in the area anymore. But our plan is to be vigilant for our community. Our community has been just tremendous with the support they give us and trying to figure out what's going on and calling in tips. And we're hoping that maybe even people from LA will see this interview and see that this person committed that crime there, and maybe somebody knows him. We believe and we hope that somebody who actually knows this suspect that's in the video will be able to identify him for us.
Forgive me if you said this. Are you revealing where the DNA was found?
No.
Was it under fingernails?
No,
or
we're not going to reveal that.
That video was from Los Angeles.
That video is from
after the assault.
Yep, that is the suspect leaving the assault that occurred in March in Los Angeles.
Doorbell camera, right?
I mean,
Security.
yes. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it.
So as you heard, they did collect DNA on Rachel, which got a match in the system. The match was from a home invasion and a sexual attack that happened in LA, in Los Angeles, California, in March of 2023. They do have video of this suspect from that home invasion, which they played, and I will play again for you here in a moment. However, they still don't know who he is. He is a random. He does not have a name. So right now, they're hoping that by sharing this surveillance footage, somebody will recognize him, somebody will be able to identify him, and right now it's tough to say if he's even still on the East Coast or not. Although it's been several months since March, he went from being in Los Angeles in March to now killing Rachel in Maryland in August. Now, while some may think that that is a pattern of escalation, that is very possible. It also is possible that Rachel fought back, given her passion and enthusiasm of fitness and how she was probably very strong, given that she went to the gym all the time. So perhaps she fought back, and that's why the rock was used. And again, I'm just speculating here with this, but that's why it resulted in murder this time. Or he very well may be escalating. There are still a lot of unanswered questions in the murder of Rachel Morin. However, there now is a little bit more information regarding the suspect, which is great because hopefully that will generate new leads, new tips, new credible information so that whoever is responsible for Rachel's horrific murder will be held accountable, and so that her children can receive some sort of justice and accountability can be had. Rachel's family has set up a GoFundMe to help with expenses because with 5 kids and no life insurance, the costs are going to add up. In the GoFundMe, Rachel's sister wrote, "This was not an accidental death, and she did not go willingly, and she deserves a funeral worthy of her and her beauty." I also want to note that unfortunately, right before Rachel's death, her family suffered a very big loss with Rachel's infant niece dying of SIDS on July 28th. So her family was already grieving extremely hard, and Rachel's death has now only multiplied their grief. Because there are still unanswered questions out there, please share this link to this video everywhere you can, in your Facebook groups, your group chats, because anyone who may have been on that trail, who may have seen something, heard something, knows something, the more credible tips and the more awareness that is generated about this case, the better. So that again, we can reach that level of finally having justice and accountability and answers for Rachel and her family. It will be interesting to know as they continue to release more information if the victim from the LA assault shared any other information such as his MO, any sort of descriptors, anything else to where maybe they could start to develop some sort of profile on this guy. So I will make sure to keep you updated on that as more details get released in that regard. He's now spanned all over the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. So where he is now could be anyone's guess, which is all the more reason why it is so important to share this video everywhere you possibly can, because someone has definitely crossed paths with this guy before. Somebody may recognize him, somebody may recognize the build, the body type, I don't know, but just please share this anywhere you can so that they can get closer to finding who did this to Rachel. As soon as there are more updates and credible updates in this case, I will jump back on here with a video providing all of that information. So if you don't want to miss any of that, please make sure to take a quick second, hit the subscribe button below, and that way when you open up, your YouTube on your phone or on your computer, if I post a video with updates on this case, you will see it on your home screen. It's totally free to do. You just have to hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in with me today. Please keep Rachel's family in your thoughts and prayers, and let's hope for answers and justice soon. Until the next case, stay safe.